Right, camera, get ready. I want to present to you Aaron and Leah Hicks.
And put your hands together. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. and Mrs. Aaron and Leah Hicks.
This is Leah, a beautiful young woman living in Olathe, Kansas, and celebrating a very big moment in her life with her new husband, Aaron. At first glance, her life is the normal mix of good and bad, exactly the same as everyone else. But Leah is one of the many thousands of Americans who is adopted. As a baby, Leah was adopted by Randy and Teresa Wilkie, growing up in nearby Hanover, Kansas.
You know, sometimes, like, maybe you start a new job, or even, like, I remember, like, in classes in school, they'd be like, all right, first day, everybody stand up and announce yourself and say 3 interesting things about yourself. And I guess, like, one of mine, a lot of the times, would be, you know, I'm adopted, or me and 2 of my other siblings are adopted, or something like that. A lot of the time, people assume that I live with my biological parents and was raised by them, so they'll ask, oh, is your mom or dad black? Or, you know, like, they want to know, like, which side is which. So, and then I'm like, well, actually, I'm adopted, but, you know. So a lot of times it comes up that way, too.
Hi, my name is Jennifer. I'm standing in front of one of 1,000 agencies that deal with adoptions. Have you ever wondered how many children are adopted each year in the United States? Simple question, right? Unfortunately, there is no simple answer. The United States does not have a central source for tracking the number and type of adoptions that are performed each year. In a recently published article in Child Welfare Information Gateway, 135,813 adoptions were performed in 2008 in the United States alone. That includes all types of adoptions: step-parent adoptions, foster care adoptions, inter-country adoptions, and private baby adoptions.
Leah's family consists of a mix of adopted and biological children, with her brother Niall being the only biological child of her parents, Randy and Teresa.
So how many adopted children do you have?
4 out of the kids. Niall's the only biological child of ours.
We had to go through class, which lasted 2 days, and upper level people of the Lutheran Social Services knew of Leah and her arrival.
So they already knew that she was coming up for adoption.
Mm-hmm. Since we already had biracial children, we would be the placement parents. We were living in Hanover at the time, and we had to go to Wichita.
Were you prepared?
No. We knew it was going to happen, but we didn't know exactly when.
He's far more prepared than we were with Nathan.
Yes. But we had specifically requested a daughter through the agency.
So did you have a room prepared for a girl?
I believe we had to move Jesse out of his room right away. And we put him in with Nathan and got everything. We were able to get everything ready before we picked her up on Saturday.
The Wilkies' experience with adoption is, however, just one side of this story. For every family that gains a son or daughter through adoption, there is also a mother who is giving her child up. This is Paula O'Brien. As a young woman confronting the daunting issue of being a single mother, she made that difficult decision.
got really sick and I went to the hospital, and that's how I found out I was pregnant. Didn't have any money. My car broke down. I had a job. When I was pregnant, I was sick a lot, and it got to the point where I didn't have any sick time to cover being gone, and then my paychecks were dwindling, and so then I ended up losing my apartment. You know, I didn't have anywhere to go, and that's when I got mixed up with living with some people that...
Did you ever think about aborting the child?
No, I didn't. And then whenever my dad said that I could come stay with them later on, it was under more pressure from my mom's conditions on if I came home. You know, how was I going to make it, and how was I going to take care of it? Made me believe I had no other option.
Paula's decision to place her baby up for adoption still continues to haunt her, bringing tears to her eyes decades after the fact. But for Leah, her adoption is just one piece of the vast collection of choices, events, and decisions that has shaped her life and brought her to where she is now.
That close? Yep.
I hurt my knee in high school doing track, like long jump and track. So I made the decision to not run track at Fort Hays State University, and I went to Washburn instead. So that's how I met Aaron, and I would have never come to Olathe without being in a serious relationship with Aaron. And coming here to visit family, I just loved it, so that's why we moved here after I was done with school.
How long did you date before you decided to get married?
We started talking about marriage, I don't know, 2 years?
Probably 2 years in. And then this January was 7 years for us. I think we knew pretty early that we were going to be together forever, but there were certain goals in life that we wanted to accomplish, graduating college and myself finding a steady job. I think I told Aaron I was adopted one of our first few dates. I brought it up.
Yeah.
And so what was your reaction to that?
I thought it was cool just for the simple fact of my grandfather was adopted. So I thought, there's a little common ground there, I guess.
It is said that we as humans are all connected. As Leah moves ahead with her new life together with Aaron, events are about to unfold that prove that saying to be true.
Well, I moved here to Kansas City area in 2003. And I got into working part-time at an apartment complex in Olathe. I grandfathered into the leasing position, and so I branched off showing houses for private owners that she managed for.
So Nathan is your brother?
Yes. They were living in Garden City, and he was just wanting to work for a different energy company because he's a lineman.
And I seen that they were hiring for their location in Shawnee, Kansas. So they offered me the position. I decided to go as soon as possible. And she gets on Craigslist, and she sees this house right here.
A lady named Tina had called and inquired about a house that we had for rent in Olathe. As I remember, originally made an appointment for a Saturday, and she had called back later in the week and said they weren't going to be able to make it. Can I send my sister-in-law? So she texted me, Leah, and the number.
On a Friday night, we were at a football game, I think freezing cold, and during the game, Leah was talking to me about how her brother had texted her and asked her about a house that he was looking at because he was getting a new job up here.
I'm supposed to be moving here with this job, and I can't come look at this house I'm supposed to move all our kids into. And so we're like, hey, well, let's just call my sister, have her go to the house, and she can video chat with us as she walks through and everything.
Sunday morning, she had called and asked if I'd go with her to go look at the house because Erin was sleeping and she didn't want to go by herself. And I was like, yeah, I love looking at houses. So we got in the car and she came and picked me up. And then we headed right over. And so we were kind of sitting outside the house just waiting for a few minutes.
Okay, so I'm racing to the appointment and I pull up in the driveway and I see her car in the street. And two people get out, and at that moment I just had like a Patrick Swayze Demi Moore ghost moment.
I think like my first reaction, Paula's body language was a little, I don't want to say cold, but you're just like, something's not right with this right now.
And it was weird because it seemed like she was running to me as a little girl. Like the last picture I seen of her. It was like, that was that moment, like, here I am. And I was so nervous and scared, and I was trying not to pass out because I didn't want to miss nothing. And I went up to the door to try to unlock the lockbox to get the key out. I was just shaking, and I was like, she was like, hi, I'm Leah, and I'm like, I'm Paula, and I was like trying to think, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to do? And I'm trying to get the door open or whatever.
It was just kind of a first awkward meeting moment because I felt like she should have been really like, oh hi, you know, I'm Paula with Casey Home Rental, like just give me a moment, I'll get it unlocked, we'll go inside. And we go in the house, my friend Amy and I follow Paula into the house. Hi. Sister.
And then Leah immediately was like, are you okay if I FaceTime with my brother and kind of show him around? And so she just kind of went off and went, and I was like kind of looking around.
This is the living room. Got a nice ceiling fan. And then it flows right into the kitchen. And you can see the backyard from in here, big slider doors.
Paula said that there was a finished basement. So I went down there. As I came up the stairs, Paula was standing in the kitchen and she had asked me if she could ask a personal question.
I don't know how to say this, and I'm trying to be as professional as possible, but I was just wondering if I could ask you a couple of personal questions about Leah.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm an open book. So what's up?
And I went down to the basement and was...
Paula didn't go with you?
No, and Paula didn't go with us. She stayed upstairs. And like I said, I thought that was a little strange that she didn't want to give us the tour and point out certain things of the house. And when I come up the stairs, they're around the corner, and I just hear my friend Amy say, I don't know what to do, but can I give you a hug?
You were to sit, but just have a seat. I really don't know what to do or say, but can I give you a hug?
In my head, I'm automatically thinking, okay, maybe this lady's crazy. Maybe she told my friend too much information, and my friend just doesn't know what to do to help her. Everything okay?
Yeah, we're good. She just doesn't feel really well, so.
Okay, we're good. I'm just gonna go upstairs now. Alright, so this is the stairway leading upstairs. You can see the front doors right
She's like, yeah, everything's great. I mean, except for this real estate lady, she's kind of acting weird. And I was like, well, should we get the house or not? She's like, oh yeah, house is great, it's awesome.
What did they say?
They like it.
Awesome. That's a nice house.
Yeah, they really like it. It's what they thought it would be. And Nate and Tina were both on there, so they both saw it. Basically, they just want to know what they have to do next to get it, because I know they need to move quickly. She's like, oh, well, they just need to go onto the website and do the application online. And she gives me her business card. And I'm like, all right, well, I think that's all that we need. You should be hearing from them because they like it. And I go to like walk out the door, and then she's like, can I ask you a personal question? And I'm just look at my friend Amy, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And I said, before you leave, I already asked your friend if she thought it would be okay if I asked you a couple of personal questions. And I asked her the same questions. You were adopted? Yeah, I was adopted as a baby.
And your birthday is December 23rd?
What's going on?
It's okay, but she believes that she's your birth mom.
What? Do you know where I was born?
In Parsons, Kansas.
Tina's like, well, call your sister back just to make sure everything is, she didn't find anything glaring about the house. So I call her back, she just starts crying. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Tina's like looking at me, she's like, what? What's wrong with the house? What's wrong with the house? And I'm just like, oh my goodness, in complete disbelief that this is actually happening.
I said, I have every reason to believe I'm a birth daughter. She said, you're my mom.
Can I give you a hug?
Yes. So for 25 years, anytime I ever went anywhere and heard anybody call out the name Leah, like kids that might be getting called by their parents in the store or something, I would be like a stalker, and I'd like walk down the aisles and look and see, and I'm like, oh shoot, it's not her. And I knew what the name was because through the adoption agency I could write letters back and forth, dear adoptive parents, and they would respond, dear birth mother. And so for years and years I had years of disappointment because it was never her.
Well, did you think you would recognize her?
Absolutely, because I had a picture of her when she was about 3 months old, and then I had one, I think maybe around 5 or 6, and then the last one I got, I believe, was like around 8 years old.
Okay.
And, people change over time. Some people change a little and some people change a lot. And I don't think she's changed that much other than she has more birthdays now. So I always had a vision of what she would be. It's kind of like going, go to a police station and they want you to describe somebody so they can sketch them. I could have probably done that.
When this happened, out of the blue, did you think about verifying? How do I verify this information?
Oh yeah. When someone says, well, because I know like your birthday and your name and where you're born, you think you can look that up anywhere. Like, people are good. You can find so much stuff on the internet now. So for me, I knew exactly what I wanted to ask to make sure that this was for real. And Aaron and I had literally just been at Mom and Dad's house the day before all of this happened. We were at Mom and Dad's house on a Saturday. The day before I met my biological mother. And Mom had previously cleaned out her fireproof box and had just some things that she thought I should have since I'm an adult, and things that I should have in my possession versus in hers. So like original birth certificate, social security card, things like that. And then also there was a letter in there that was from Paula to Mom and Dad.
Once you adopted Leah, did you have any contact with the biological mother? Did she ever try and contact you?
She would send letters through the adoption agency, and we sent a few letters back to her, but they always passed through the adoption agency.
Because they didn't want her to know where she was at.
Did you stay in touch with her through the years?
I believe the last letter we received when Leah was about 8 years old.
Did she ever talk about trying to find her biological mother?
No, we basically had a rule in our house. They weren't going to be able to do anything like that until after they graduated out of high school, to prevent them. The way kids are even today, if they don't like what their parents are doing, I'm going to go to my mom's and do it. So we didn't ever have that option on the table.
Tell me about when you first heard about what happened to Leah, that Leah found her family.
Teresa called and gave us the information that when Leah was looking for an apartment or a home, a house, for her brother. The lady that was showing the property asked some questions about the girl that was looking for the house. They talked back and forth, and they finally agreed that with her date of birth and where she was from and everything, and when she was adopted, that was her daughter.
Well, we were thrilled that that this had happened, and it was such a coincidence. It was just kind of an amazing story.
Take me through that day when Leah met Paula.
We had been collecting items for the retirement, things that they required us to bring for the retirement board. Among these items was a letter that I had found and saved from, came from Paula, who had written it when Leah was about 8. She came to visit on a Friday night, and in the morning I presented her with all the items and the letter.
And so within a few minutes, I brought up the letter that I had just read at my parents' house the day before, and she was able to confirm the date, details of it, everything, and I knew that it had to be, that it was true.
And then I told her, I said, you have a sister, Aja, and she's off. I'm waving her in to come inside.
Aja, this is your sister. Gosh. Hi.
Oh my god. I can't believe this is happening. Oh my god.
And I said, but you have another sister, Whitney, who just had a baby the day before, and she's at the hospital.
Oh my god, you look just like Whitney, your other sister.
Do I?
Yes. You want to see a picture of her? She's
yeah,
at the
I
hospital.
do. Oh my gosh, I do look just like her.
I don't know who was more excited. I say it would be me, but she may say differently. But it was very, very exciting, and it just went from there. It's like the most amazing feeling in the world, and there's nothing to compare to it. It just stuff that I went through in my life. This could never happen again. There's no book. There's no instructions. I just feel like it was the right time that things have happened in my life that put me in that right position. And I've showed thousands of homes, and I've showed a lot of people with the name Leah, and it's never been her till that day.
So this is all worked out.
Yeah, it's like the best ever. And I want to do everything I can to be 110% a part of it and support her in every way I can. I want to help as much as I can. I can't make up for the past, but I can start now by doing the best I can for the rest of our lives.
The rate of adoptions is staggering. Pregnancy centers and adoption agencies are losing ground in the overwhelming struggle to handle the number of adoptions, growing adoptions, in America. More than 816 adoptions take place each and every day. With one birth every 8 seconds and one death every 12 seconds, America has a net gain of one person approximately every 16 seconds. That calculates to more than 10% of the population of the United States that has someone in their family who is adopted, and the number is growing. Kim Griffin of the Young Lives Pregnancy Center is one of thousands of people nationwide who are not only devoted to helping unwed mothers, but who are able to see firsthand why an unwed mother would give her child up for adoption.
The normal is there's no one on their side, and it just breaks my heart because they don't have the backup. They don't have they get kicked out. I've had several teen moms have a baby and get kicked out of their home, and so So then a lot of times they end up at the guy's parents. So they end up living with the father of the baby. Yeah.
So how do you help them? How do you help those who don't have a support system?
We try and become that support system. Not physically, because we have no place to put them, no house. But we're there. We're, our leaders and our girls are texting all the time. We're on Facebook. We have our own page that's private, so that, like yesterday, one of our girls she has a job, and her babysitter flaked on her. And so she posted on there, need a babysitter, and then what hours. Well, the other girls can say, hey, I can help you. I'll watch your kid for you while you go to work. So it's a way of them to talk, as well as a way of us as leaders to encourage them. We wrote Bible verses and different websites that's helpful.
And how long have you been doing this?
4 years.
How did you come to find out about Kim and Young Lives?
I found Kim and Young Lives by our church pastor. I was in the beginning of my pregnancy.
Okay.
So first trimester. Yeah. I found out about a first meeting, so I went to go to a first meeting on Tuesday nights. Is it? Yeah. Tuesday nights at 6. And then I liked it, and I kept going.
What have been some of your biggest worries or concerns during your pregnancy?
Being a single mother at age 21.
Young Lives is, our mission is just to tell with Young Life every teen about Christ. That's the main focus. But because they're teen moms or going to be teen moms, we do more. We teach life skills and really just help them with being a mom, being a parent. Alexandra, we're taking prenatal classes together, so she's ready for delivery. After, when she has a baby, we have helps. We've got equipment, clothes, all sorts of helps for them after they deliver.
So how do you prepare these young pregnant teens for this journey of having a child?
Well, we have a DVD that we work through that pregnancy centers use to tell them about labor and delivery and what to expect. And then after they have their babies, then we do parenting classes, how to discipline your 2-year-old, have relationship skills. We cook. We're in the kitchen cooking. We do finances. There's just a lot of different skills we hit on so that they're prepared.
The biggest question is why? Why did you feel you had to give her up for adoption? It's okay. This is tough.
I didn't feel like I had any support from the father at that point. I was living at my parents' house at the time.
Okay.
I had moved back by the time, right before she was born. But there were those conditions.
Did they force you to give her up?
Pretty much made it to be where made me believe I had no other option.
So how is your relationship with Leah now?
Awesome, it's amazing. I couldn't ask for better. The most amazing feeling in the world. And there's nothing to compare to it.
Now, have you met her adoptive parents?
Yes, and they're very wonderful people, just as I imagined they would be. And they're very thankful, and the most kind words they gave me was that they thanked me for giving them a blessing, and then they were able to give that back to me, and I can be a part of their family.
Leah and Paula's lives are now forever intertwined. Each has gained a new extended family, many of whom are now gathered together to celebrate Leah and Aaron taking their first steps as a new family themselves. Was the surprising reconnection of Leah and her birth mother Paula an out-of-the-blue random occurrence or an act of providence? That's a question the Wilkies and O'Briens can discuss at dinner and picnics for the rest of their lives. But for Leah, it's really just about family.
So where does that leave Teresa in your new family circle?
It doesn't change it. It leaves her and my dad as the people that I knew as my mom and dad, and they always will be, and no one will ever replace them.
Who do you call mom?
Teresa. Sometimes when I'm talking to Aja, I'll say mom just because she is a biological mom to both of us, so we have that in common right there.
The first night they had a girls' night, and her and Aja and Whitney had spent the night together at Aja's house. Aja said that was the best time of her life, to have a sister night, and that really brought them closer together and bonded.
What's a good way to get other adopted children through that? I think the biggest thing is just, when someone loves you, they love you, and you know that. It's an instinct that you have as a person. You know when someone loves you.
Leah and Paula spend a lot of time together, but many who have searched to find their birth parents have not been as lucky.
Have you ever looked for your birth mother?
I've found them, actually. I have a brother that's a year older than me. A sister, I believe, is 4 years older than me. Charity is her name, and they were raised by the grandparents, and I guess mother was off gallivanting.
So you've met your father as well?
No,
or?
She doesn't know his name. She says she can't remember his name, so I guess that's that.
So are they in your life at all? Or?
Yeah, I keep in contact with the sister and the brother, and I haven't met the grandparents yet, but I'll meet them sometime soon.
Did they tell you why they put you up for adoption? Or?
Yeah, I was told that my mother couldn't afford to have me, so she gave me up for adoption. Well, it was somewhat true because the grandparents were actually raising her children, and they could not afford another child.
Do you feel that you were closer to Jesse and Leah because you were all adopted rather than Niall?
No, there's no difference in that. You grow up with your father being your father, your mother being your mother, and your brothers regardless of the color. Those are who you know as brothers. If he needed me tomorrow and he was 12 hours away, I'd get there in 10. That's what you do for family. So, it's a really awesome perspective being adopted. You grow up knowing that family is not just blood. Everybody says blood's thicker than water. Well, the word family is thicker than blood, plain and simple. So you grow up knowing that just because you're not this man's biological child, he still loves you with his entire heart, and really it took me having children to see how much my father actually loved me, and he loves me every bit as much as he loves Niall. It doesn't matter that Niall is carries his genetic code and I don't. It don't matter to him. It doesn't matter to my mom. They love me to death. It doesn't matter what I do. I'm still their child. And I'm gonna die their child.
So, You did it!
We did it!
We did do it.
Yay!
What did you do?
We got married!
So how does it feel to be married?
It doesn't really feel different, but I feel different,
How long has
definitely.
it been? Like an hour or what?
Yeah.
Well,
I definitely feel
we decided-
different than I have for the last days, weeks, months, because planning, those stresses are gone. Now I can just have fun, run around and talk to people and enjoy ourselves.
Dale was here. Did you get to talk to him?
Yes, I have talked to Dale. We
Okay.
took a picture together, and I met my half-brother Logan and Dale's wife Jamie and
So
some
you met
extended
some
family.
new-
So yes, so I met some people I hadn't had a chance to meet. So
Great.
it felt good. I'm glad everyone's here and wanted to be here and be a part of our day.
So are you glad it's over, or
Yes,
or
but
just
I'm ready
beginning,
to
I
party.
should say?
Yes. Yes and yes. Yes. I think that's the answer, yes.
And your hair worked out the way you wanted
Hair
it?
and makeup was better than I expected.
And Aaron, your hair was
Yeah, perfect as usual.
great.
It's very important.
Great! And it doesn't make any difference.
No.
We don't know the difference.
Good.
And something I want to say that I've always really appreciated from Niall, other than being a really good example for everyone in our whole entire family, but growing up, we're 11 years apart in age, so not only do I feel like he's my brother and will always be my brother, but I think when you have the age difference, a lot of time you don't have a lot in common or stuff to talk about, or you maybe don't feel quite so comfortable around each other. But he always made an effort for myself and even Nate and Jesse, but to always come see him, even when he was in college. I remember going on my spring breaks to stay with him in Topeka for a couple days, and he would take me, for those days and do movies and food and swim at his apartment. I even remember, and he took me to Worlds of Fun the very first time I ever went, and it was just awesome that I was in grade school or junior high, and here's my college brother, and he's taking me to do things and wanted to do it, nothing that was forced. So that was always really special to me that he did that. So
Awesome.
it means a lot.
The Wilkie family loves each other very much, but Leah's adopted brother Jesse had some unpleasant encounters to the point where it's very painful to talk about.
So, have you ever actively looked for your birth mother or parents? So tell me about that.
You have to take a step back and figure out what you're put in a certain spot for a reason. But at the same time, there's that part of you that want to know who your parents are.
So it's a little bittersweet for you.
Finding birth parents is hard. It's not always butterflies and rainbows. But Out of the Blue is here to help. So if you have comments or questions, please contact us at outofthebluestory@yahoo.com.